thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have to clap.
A very beautiful sound from the saxophone.
I felt it.
Yes. Yeah. Now this takes us from what we've seen, like the audience says, this takes us to the world of creativity and music.
Okay.
And this segment, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about learning musical instruments. Especially, we're focusing on the saxophone.
On the saxophone.
Yeah, right. Of course. So, viewers, the saxophone is a versatile instrument that has been a cornerstone of various music genres, from jazz and blues to rock and pop. Its unique sound and expressive qualities have captivated audiences worldwide, of course. Joining us today is Abiodun Okewoye, a skilled saxophonist who will share their passion, expertise and experiences, and also tips on mastering the iconic instrument. You played beautifully.
I mean,
it's so exceptional. I was enjoying every sound that comes from it.
Thank you so much.
So I can't help but wonder how heavy this is.
It's not heavy at all. I can actually.
Let me.
Have you held one before?
I've tried. I carried it like this. I said I want to learn, but when I saw all the confusing elements, I said no, it's not for me because my brain cannot take this.
This tiny thing with all the complicated and many buttons. Tell us the journey first.
Well, I've been playing for quite a long time. So I've come to realize that playing the saxophone is actually easier for some of us than even talking. Right, because we've grown too used to it. We understand the dynamics, it looks complicated, but it's actually easy. There are some instruments that have just 3 vibes, Those ones, you need a lot of calculations to even know what you are doing. But this one, almost everything is actually right in front of you. So it's even easier playing the saxophone than even using your phone sometimes.
So is it that easy? I was actually thinking it's hard, because you have to blow into it. I mean, you had to, when you were sitting, you have to sit up straight, to play it.
So and the airflow, and how do you manage it?
How taxing is that,
playing
it?
But it seems like the first thing first is to understand that you are not blowing hair into it, you're actually tipping the hair. So me sitting up just for the hair to be able to flow, I can actually lie down and still play. I can lie down and play, I can do it because I've been doing it for a long time, so I understand the dynamics. So, but the major thing is to understand how to control your embouchure, your mouth, tipping the hair into it. Just like the simplest way you can actually teach somebody how to blow is to give that person a paper, chew it, just spit it out of your mouth. The same way you do that, that's the way you put the hair
because I remember when I said I wanted to learn, they told me chew a paper and blow. That's the way you can now know if you're going to blow or not.
Exactly, that's the same thing.
I always felt like you said, it's taxing because it has to do with airflow, How do you manage your breath and blow at the same time?
But, it's like, as you are talking now, you are doing all of that already. Well, because you've been doing it, you don't even you don't need to start thinking of how do I talk, how do I even control my breath, how do I even... So because it's already part of you. The basic things first is actually to understand...
The basics.
The basics. To understand that, okay, you're not using so much of your energy, you're just putting little bit of the hair, and to know how to place your mouth on the mouthpiece. Mouth placement, understanding the keys. That is just it's as easy as that.
So how long did it take you to learn how to play the saxophone? Because I feel, I actually wanted to learn 1 or 2. I started learning the keyboard that I wanted to move to, but all that is gone because, it's not something that you're consistent, So, but how difficult, because for the keyboard, they're always going to tell you what key to play, what sound is to give you, and also, is it similar with the saxophone?
Well, keyboard is always the foundation for everything musical that we want to do. Everything is right there. You can see the black keys, you can see the white keys. They can actually run. They can even put paper right ABC and everything. But it's not like that with the saxophone. The saxophone is just you knowing that it has to do with your fingering. That the lower part you put some fingers here. The finger you put on the lower part. You can see it's almost as if everything is even waiting for you. You are seeing the white keys. So you put your finger on the white key, put this one here. Then the next thing is now for you to now understand, when you blow in the hair, which finger goes on which one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to me, it's actually the easiest thing anyone could ever actually think of learning. But it can be the most difficult thing to master.
Okay, now we're talking about learning musical instrument, like focusing on the saxophone. So can you walk us through the learning process? How is it like?
Well, okay, like the first thing you always do when you want to learn how to is to introduce you to the saxophone first, because it's not part of you, it's outside of you. So you need to understand what it's all about, how it is divided. Like when you are doing biology, they label the cockroach, you know the head and the tail. So now the first thing first is to know that, okay, this is called mouthpiece. This is the mouth. Without this, you won't be able to blow anything. There are something called reed. It's made of bamboo. It helps the thing to vibrate so that the sound can go in. It controls the sound. Then this one is called. So they have different components. They have different parts. Just the same way we have head, we have body, we have everything.
Okay, so you can actually detach it from.
Detach it, yeah.
Okay.
So this is the neck. So the neck and everything, and this is the upper body, and this is the lower body. This is the bell. Yeah. So you have the upper body, you have the lower body, you have the bell. So once you understand that basics, then the next is now to know which fingers play which notes.
The more I look at it, the more it's confusing.
Because you can't hold it like this.
But when you started, was it that complicated?
I've seen people trying to, fashionize the way they hold.
They're just being dramatic.
but at the same time. So is there a particular age limit, or at what age should a person start to learn, any instrument, not just this one, but for the saxophone? Is there a particular age that people should start learning? Is it too late for an older person that we want to start?
No, it's never too late. Or it's easier for younger people because they are not distracted.
Yeah,
with
they're still fresh.
The cares of this world, trying to pay house rent and everything. So they're able to focus on one thing and get it done. But ideally, I always recommend anybody that wants to learn they can start from the age of 5. Yeah. Because there are some basics that you just understand, not the main thing first from that age. Then as you are doing it, okay, if that age of 5, then first of all, you can find out their passion first from the age of 2 or 3, if they're passionate about it, because the passion is the fuel that's going to drive your ability to play. So from the age of 5, then maybe able to hold the small one, then start playing with it, trying to make sense. Just like when a little child is trying to talk, it's not always that clear from the beginning. It's not, but after
with
a while,
time you
now start getting to understand some basic things, how to place your mouth, how to make the sound, whatever. But I'm seeing people who are doing very well on the saxophone, even from the age of 10. From the age of 12, they're already playing very well. So we can start from the age of 5.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of times, saxophone players, they tend to, you pick a song and you try to play while maybe the guitarist or, you have backup singers answering to someone. So which song have you successfully played? Like maybe any song that we know, and how challenging was that? Because, sometimes the key is different from what you're playing.
Yeah. So now most of us that started with jazz music. Jazz music is one of the most difficult songs you could ever actually learn how to play. If you can play any popular jazz music, jazz steps, one of those, they call them jazz standard. If you can play them and you understand them, there's no song in this world that you cannot play. Because it seems like when we instrumentalists, when we are listening to a song, we are not listening to that song, we are listening to what we call tonic surfer. Those are the alphabet of this. So that's what we are hearing. And we can tell, okay, this one, this is do, this is re, this is fi, this is wherever. So the more you do that, the more you're able to understand all of those things, progressions, how the song moves. You understand.
But is there any song that was challenging for you to sing with the saxophone? Because it's different from, and you're a singer as well. So how will you compare singing with the saxophone and singing with your voice?
For me, it's easier for me to sing with the saxophone than to sing. With my voice. Why? Because I spend more time with the saxophone than singing with my voice. And everybody can sing with the voice, but not only if you can do the saxophone. So I'd rather just do the saxophone and allow other people to sing with their own voice. So I can't even think of any song that I find most challenging. There are songs that may take me more time to learn than others. There are some songs that I don't even need to learn. Once I just hear it, I can play it from the beginning to the end. Just listen to it. And there are some songs that I need to understand what is, because there are so many changes, there are so many complications, so many in and out. So those ones will take some time to learn. And it now depends on how much time you have available. to actually learn all those things.
So is playing the saxophone a full-time job or a part-time?
Well, it's not a full-time. There are so many other things I do, but this is the major thing I do. This actually will occupy my time most of the time.
Okay. You learned it in a school, or is there a school of learning musical instruments you learned from?
The thing, like, I learned in the school, but I've been playing before I even like get to study it. Why? Because I always tell people, you don't choose to play the music. Music chooses you. You just become the channel through which you pass on the
music chose me, but I left it behind me.
These are the issues.
If that's the case, I don't think that's where I would have been able to get my urgent 2K. But how important is it to have a teacher or a mentor, especially when you want to learn a musical instrument? Because, you know, it's different from just learning on the street, because for some they learn on the street because they see people playing. You know, even when you see people indulging in rap battles like Cypher and the rest, is usually on the street that people pick up. So how important is it to have a mentor or a teacher when you want to learn a music instrument?
You see, you can't overemphasize the importance of a teacher or a mentor when it comes to learning saxophone, because like I'm saying, looking at it for the first time, you know, it's actually challenging understanding. But some people are lucky they are born in a musical family, so they might not even know when they even pick everything, but it's because they saw somebody doing it and they love it, and they're watching that person that they're able to get it. So you know, there's different parts of it. The practical aspect is when you play. That's the practical aspect. So
it's not easy. The way you are making it look.
Honestly, he's making it feel like it's an easy one, but it's not, because you saw the fingers. How do you improvise the fingers and the breath and the sound? How do you do that?
The practical aspect is you just play, and then the theoretical aspect is you understanding.
I need to learn how to play it.
Understanding what you are playing. You understand the notes. See, music is actually like, it's just like when you're English, you have how many alphabet, 20 something, but when it comes to music, it's just 7. So you just learn how to manipulate the 7 notes, you know, C, from C back to C, you know, C. Once you just know how to manipulate it, then you are good to go.
Do you like have a school you teach kids, or?
No, I don't have a school, because like everybody as a saxophone, you have a part that you want to really focus on. I have friends who actually have school, but I do private classes, you know, for people that want to learn, and I do more of performance. I'm always out there performing. Most people that teach, they don't always have the time to perform, but me, I do more of performance, because that's where my niche is. That's why I perform at Transcorp 80. I perform at different other places, private events, wedding, you know, so many places. So I don't really have that time to sit down and but if it's private, you know, I can actually have time.
Talking
about performing, that's a video of you. I saw someone that looked, you know, like an event that big people were gathered. There was a video that yesterday I saw, but that's not. But you know, how, you know, important is a person knowing how to read the music sheet? You know, how important is it, and how does it affect a person's growth when it comes to if the person wants to become an instrumentalist? How important is knowing how to read music sheets? Because it's visually difficult. You know how the music sheets, right? No, so is it the same? Does saxophone also have a music sheet that?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. In fact, like, you can give me a song that I've never heard before.
Yeah.
I will just look at the music sheet and I'm playing it. I'm just playing it. It may take me a while to go through it, because the more you do it, the more you master it. But it's like learning how to read, just like you learning how to read book too. You know, no matter how intelligent you have to learn how to read and write. Yeah. But you know that people, music is something like, it's more of a creative thing. You know. It's not so much of academic things, so it's more of creativity, so that people can do excellently well without knowing how to read and write. You know, I won't say they are limited, but you know, there's so much more they'll be able to do if they are able to read and write. Because you can interpret any song, you can write your song for generations to come. You can write it down, and maybe 100 years after, people can look at it and play it. But if you are not able to do that, you just play and everything's gone. Because when I mentioned Just Standard, Just Standard are songs that people play like 50 years, 100 years ago, but we still see them and we're able to play them, understand what they are doing. So that's the importance of learning how to read. I can read, I can write, but I don't do that as often as I play. But there are people that do it much more often
than they play.
Yeah,
okay. Now, this musical instrument, the saxophone, is it that they come all the same with the same features, or we have different kinds of saxophone with different features? Or do they come updated like just the phone? You know, every year it comes.
I thought there's a longer one.
Yeah. So now, you know, if you are familiar with choir singing, you know, maybe a group of singers, you have soprano singer, you have alto singer, you have tenor singer, you have baritone. So it's like that with the saxophone. The one I was playing at the show, that one is much bigger than this. The other one are much more bigger. So, and they have to do with the range. Like this one is a more tight, the range is higher. The other one that the range is a bit lower and bit lower. The other one are even much more higher than this. So they're different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it depends on the kind of event you're going to.
The kind of event and the way you really want to express yourself. Yeah. It's how you want to
so
express
in your opinion, which music instrument is the best to start for a beginner, for someone that wants to start learning how to sing? What instrument do you think should they start picking to learn before
Generally, I will always advise people to start with keyboard first. Yeah. Because the keyboard will give you the basics of it will give you the understanding of music generally. Once you can understand keyboard, then you will now you understand progression, you understand chords. So by the time you pick every other instrument, you can easily relate. So what will take other people like 10 years to master, you might be able to master it in 2 or 3 years because you understand the in and out of the whole thing first. So I will always recommend keyboard as the first for anyone to pick
because
up.
Keyboard is also phenomenal. When you see people playing it, you'll be wondering how their hands are even doing that.
Also you can be playing the keyboard and singing at the same time. So me, after the keyboard, I will advise anyone to pick up guitar, maybe acoustic guitar. Then before you start going to woodwind instrument.
So what's your favorite genre or style to play the saxophone?
Well, like when we are much more younger, it used to be you have to be jazz and everything, but now we try to I play any kind of music that people can relate with, because I'm not playing for myself, I'm playing for people, you know. So, but I love Nigerian music, I love Afro pop music, I love highlife music, I like Afro music, you know. Anything Africans, you know, appeal to me. Because I can.
You know, growing up, I've seen how, you know, in schools, cultural day is incorporated, PE and the rest, you know. So do you think music is lacking now in our schools, like when it comes to, you know, schools teaching children how to, you know, learn 1 or 2 things? Because it can actually help them if they're going to be in school and they start, and then when they graduate to the, you know.
Yeah, from my experience, I realize like private schools are actually embracing it more than the public schools, because it costs a lot to actually buy this stuff. So you can't, you know, not many private schools can maintain this. You know, most of them when we started from the public schools. You know, we started with recorder and everything. We have music teacher, but you hardly find that in public schools anymore. But private schools understand the importance of this, and they are actually like encouraging students to learn. So I've actually gone to a lot of private schools to teach. So I actually even help them in other curriculum, in other aspects, in other subjects, in mathematics. If you can understand how to combine the notes together, then it's easier. So I think I've always encouraged that in schools for students to pick it up.
All right. This saxophone, the sound that comes out from it is a very soothing kind of. Have you ever played for maybe a depressed person or something? Because it's kind of very relaxing. So have you ever done that or something?
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. In fact, I've been invited to play for someone that was actually almost dying, you know, just to, that was the happiest moment of the person's life, you know, because it's not just about the sax, also the way you put the notes together. You can make it in a sad way, I can make it in a loving way, in a romantic way, in a happy way.
Yeah, usually I've seen people trying to surprise their loved ones. They bring in someone to play the saxophone. And
they call it parara.
So, but
it's unfortunately people call it parara, but it's not just parara.
I used the Nigerian like
it was actually nice, you know, having you in the studio, you know, to share your expertise on why it's important for people to learn how to play, and also, you know, playing this beautiful song, even though I do not know it, but the sound of it is lovely. I mean, it just has a way of, you know, giving you goosebumps. Thank you so much, Abiodun, for taking out your time to be part of this program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's go on a quick break. And we'll return. We go into the entertainment segment to see what is really happening on social media platforms. Stay with us after this break.